As Rotary, we often ask ourselves, how do we grow, personally, professionally, and organizationally? The answer is simple. To grow Rotary, we need more Rotary clubs. Let's use Anytown as an example. Anytown is a city of 100,000 people and home to one proud Rotary club. But there are hundreds of other people of action, just like us, who are uniquely qualified to become Rotary members. They share the same drive and represent the values and fundamentals of a Rotary member. So why aren't they members? Well, the current club meets on Monday. There are leaders in Anytown who can't meet on a Monday. By excluding this segment, the potential members in Anytown has shrunk. Now consider, what if the meeting is at noon on Monday? There are people who can meet on Monday, but can't meet at noon. So now we have a smaller audience for Rotary in Anytown. Of the remaining group, some aren't interested in a club with a sit-down lunch and speakers. They are passionate about service, but aren't interested in a traditional club experience. And that is okay. The Rotary Club of Anytown isn't doing anything wrong. It just doesn't appeal to particular segments of the community. And if we're going to thrive for years to come, we must adapt and embrace change. In Anytown, we have an opportunity to expand because potential members are everywhere. More than half of the eligible people are prospective Rotary members, waiting to make a bigger impact in their community. But what Rotary Club exists for them? If Anytown creates new clubs at new times and new places, the hidden potential for Rotary will be revealed. As people of action, we must broaden our reach and provide opportunities to all leaders in the community. Together, all of us can grow Rotary.
Meet David. David has been thinking about joining his local Rotary Club, but he's got some reservations. David's got questions like, is Rotary membership right for me? Or do I even have time to be a Rotarian? Let's explore the top 5 Rotary membership myths exposed. Myth number 1, Rotary is only for business networking. While Rotary was in fact founded as a professional group, its purpose has always been centered on service to the community and in fact the world. Both the personal and professional contacts that you will undoubtedly make are just a wonderful side benefit of joining Rotary. Myth number 2, Rotary is just an old boys club. There was a day when Rotary was comprised of just local businessmen, but that was long ago. Here's the bottom line. We're simply looking for high-character men and women in our community that want to serve. Myth number 3, Rotary is expensive. Actually, Rotary membership fees vary from club to club, community to community. Some are as little as mere dollars per month. Myth number 4, if I can't make the meetings, I can't be in Rotary. Rotary is about serving. If you want to help us serve the community, but just can't get to regular meetings, your local club will absolutely find a way for you to participate. Myth number 5, I just don't have time to be a Rotarian. Did you or does your business have 2 hours per month to contribute to the community? We can show you some reasonable goals and examples of how to get yourself involved in Rotary inside of your busy schedule. So you see, David did have some concerns about joining Rotary until he heard the whole story. Don't let these myths stand in your way. Start your Rotary journey of service right now, because the world needs Rotary, and Rotary needs you.
Yes, thank you, admin, for the video for membership. Yes, I think it's a very nice video. Yes, good morning, because it's really early morning in the United States. And good evening, my fellow Rotarian. I hope everyone is having a lovely and wonderful day. It is with our greatest pleasure to join us for membership seminar. Of course, warm welcome for DG Dolly Yap from District 3310, with, of course, with his leader from District 3310, and then welcome for DG Budi from District 3410, with his leader from his district. And yeah, of course, warm welcome for my DG Cindy from 3420, with all the leader from 3420. And of course, the last, our special guest speaker tonight will we learning, we sharing and discuss with PDG Tom Gam from District 5950, who really expert and have good experience in membership. Once again, thank you for all district club leaders and fellow Rotarian who will join in our webinar, membership webinar, with the 3 factor of membership: attraction, engagement, new club formatting. We will learning, discuss, and sharing. Once again, thank you for district and club leader, DGE, DGN, DGND, PDGs, DDG, AGs, and president, of course. I see from 3410, PDG Willy, PDG Ridlo, PDG Sujatmiko, and PDG Thomas from 3420, PDG Suryo. I see PDG Saini, PDG Al, of course. Yes, once again, thank you for joining in our membership seminar. Okay, for the first hour program in invocation. Yeah, invocation, please. Thank you. And then please, admin, to increase our adrenaline for membership seminar, to push our membership in our district. Please, admin, for the March Rotary. Thank you.
Tariwan semua tingkatkan tugas mulia untuk
Yes, thank you, admin. The next program is welcome remark for our DG Cindy Bahtiar, who is really successful in membership. Please, time is yours, DG Cindy. Yes, DG
Thank
Cindy,
you.
please.
Thank you, IPDG Nyoman Swastika. Okay, dear PDG Tomgam, and also my dear classmates, DG Budi from District 3410, Indonesia, and my dear classmate DG Dolly Yip from District 3310, and from Singapore. And is it DG Bindi is here already? DG Bindi will also come from District 3300 from Malaysia, and also DG Elina Suratman, DG N Romi Junadi, and also want to greet our PDGs, a lot of PDGs coming tonight. PDG Alpura, PDG Mufid, PDG Thomas, PDG Suryo, and also PDG Willy, PDG Ridlo, from District 3410, and also my beloved PDG Zaimi. Thank you for coming. And also my fellow Rotarians from many districts, and of course, my beloved ARC IPDG Nyoman Swastika being a host for this evening. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan, Salam Sejahtera. Good morning for PDG Tomgan, and also good evening for all of us. First of all, let us thank God because we can gather here this evening to join the great membership seminar. It is agreed that to end the year of Rotary Serve to Change Life, 4 district governors are area able to work together to present the 4 district membership webinar by the most viral and talented speaker, PDG Tomgam. Thank you for coming tonight. We all have been working very hard since 1st of July 2022 to each one bring one and keep all so that we could have great membership figure and also increase this year. In our district, we have achieved the new gain of 20% members from 1,148 on July 1st, 2021 to 1,411 on June 22, 2022. I do believe that all my classmates also have tried very hard to increase the membership as well. We do believe that although we have more than 1.4 million members this year, but members are still a very big issue that we keep on learning to get and have more members. With more members, we will have more hands to help our humanity projects and help the people in need. It is great honor for us to have PDG Tomgam, who is the most viral membership expert, to be with us in his very busy and tight schedule. We do hope that we could all learn more how to engage members, retain them, and increase the members, and also make new clubs. I do hope that although we only have less than 10 days, we could still reach many more new members in all our districts. Thank you, PDG Tomgam, for your time, and I do hope that we can learn from the expert tonight and enjoy the webinar tonight. Greeting from District 3420. Thank you. Rotary Serve to Change Life.
Yes, thank you, DG Cindy. Nice welcome remarks.
Welcome, PDG.
Yes, next program is welcome remark for DG Budi, my twin DG from 3410. Please, your time, DG Budi.
Good evening, everyone, and good evening, fellow Rotarians. DGs, PDGs, and fellow Rotarians from 3300, 3310, 3420, and 3410. Very good evening. It's a privilege for me to be able to share with you here this evening with the good agenda of which very important to all of us, which is the membership. As you all know that the Rotary has been around 1.2 million for the last 18 years now. And our target this year actually is 1.3, and we are still only 1.2 point something, 2.05. And indeed, it's something to all of us to work together since the beginning of the year towards this membership increment. It is all members' responsibility that membership is all about. And first of all, I have to thank you to the next meeting in Abu Dhabi. This meeting in Abu Dhabi means so much to us because we have been having issues about Rotary as Chinese. Proven fact that now we having the Zone Institute we had in Abu Dhabi that will really helping us in terms of explaining to those who are not sure what Rotary is all about. It's all together indeed, which needed to work together and to make sure that Rotary, which has been 117 years with very good MOP, very good SOP, and very good things is being done by Rotary. So once again, Rotary is to all of us to work together and to grow together. And we are ready to learn from you, PDG Tom Gum, not Tom Gunn, Tom Gum. We're ready for some juices, some infusion, and some injection. So happy learning to everyone. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Nice welcome remark from DG Budi. And now before PDG Tom Gunn will presentation about the membership, I hope we want to know about who is actually PDG Tom Gunn. Okay, please Pepe Wanda to read the PDG Tom Gunn curriculum vitae. Time it's yours.
Please unmute, Pepe Wanda. Please unmute, Pepe Wanda.
Pepe Wanda, please unmute. Yes.
Thank you. So, is it unmute now?
Yes, okay. You
Okay.
start.
So, thank you. So, PDG Tom Gum, I'd like to read his excellent biography. So, Tom Gum is passionate about growing Rotary, and then also, especially at the membership. So, he's passionate through forming new clubs and innovative Rotaract and satellite clubs. He co-founded helped form dozens of new and creative clubs around the world, including the first ever Rotary Club and the world to serve veterans. Number 2, the first ever Rotary Club and the world focus on ending human trafficking. Number 3, the Rotary Club of Network for Empowering Women, which was featured in the North America Rotary magazine. The Kaleidoscope Rotary Club to serve those with autism and their families. The Rotary Club for the Environment. So he has a very excellent biodata. So actually, I'm going to send it to everyone so that nobody is going to miss it, PDG Tom Gum. Because if I read this, it's going to take me 1 hour to read. So he has excellence in membership. Thank you very much. In fact, he has been with RA President Sekar Mehta, and then Rotary International President-elect Ginevra John, and also RAPN Gordon McAnally, and many memberships seminar. So I will send it to all so that you can read the biography, but I will keep your phone number only for myself. So, thank you, ILC.
Yes, thank you, Past President Wanda. That's a really excellent biography for PDG Tom Gum. Okay, before I hand over for this next program, because as a moderator. DG Dolly Yep will be take over for this seminar. I just want remind for all the participants this seminar that our members are our greatest asset. And when we grow Rotary, we grow our service and the impact of our project. We grow the awareness and understanding of Rotary and communities. And the most importantly, we grow our membership so that we can achieve more. Growing Rotary membership is Rotary International highest internal organization priority, while polio eradication remain Rotary highest external program priority. Okay, thank you. And now I want hand over for the next program will be managed by DG Dolly Yep from District 3310. Time is yours, DG Dolly.
Thank you, IPD Chair. My fellow Rotarians from far and near, a very good evening to all of you. It is good to see you via Zoom. So thank you, classmate Cindy, for initiating this seminar and with 4 districts coming together. Membership development and clubs development have always been on the top of our Rotary agenda over the years. Tonight, we have them 4 in 1 and is to present it's our own prominent PDG, Tongam, who has mentioned in his CV, read earlier by PP Wandar, is a very qualified person to share with us on this subject. So without much delay, over to you, Past District Governor Tom.
Well, thank you so much, DD Jolly. It's such a pleasure to be here with all of you. And it's nice to be with a group that takes membership so seriously. All of your districts have grown over the last year, so it's great to be here to celebrate. You know, when I'm often asked to speak, it's usually on one area. Maybe it's attraction, maybe it's starting new clubs. But your wonderful education team has decided that we're going to talk about all of membership. And we're not going to spend a lot of time doing it. We're going to get through it as quickly as we can so we can get to answer your questions that you have, because we want you to leave tonight with the knowledge that you came here to seek. So the title of our topic is going to be the membership synergy. So basically, when it all comes down to it, and I think about membership a lot, and when it comes down to it, there's only really 3 things that we can do to grow our beloved Rotary. The first thing we can do is we could actually attract new members, bring those new members in. We have to do that, that's important. All of these areas are important. But what we're gonna see is different international presidents focus on different areas of membership during their year, depending on where we are. You know, in our world today, I was speaking in Sri Lanka last weekend, and they had 300% inflation. So they have a crisis there. So what you do in that area might be different than what we do here in Indonesia. So we attract the members. The second thing we can do to grow Rotary is we can engage our current members. Sometimes that's referred to as retention. And then the third way we can grow Rotary is forming new clubs. And I'm happy to say that your districts in Indonesia are doing all 3 of these well. And that's why things are growing and your membership is growing. So let's talk about this last year. You know, this past year, our current president, Rotary International President Shekhar Mehta, he gave us both direction and motivation. The direction he gave us was each one bring one, which is all about attraction. That's that first bubble. We bring the people into Rotary. Now going into this next year, 22-23 year, RI President-elect Jennifer Jones, she wants us to comfort and care for our members. What is that? That is retention and that is engagement. Now, every year we actually have to start new clubs. You know, back in 1996, Budi was so kind to tell us about how the number of clubs, how we've been about 1.2, if you include road actors, 1.4. Right now, we're actually at 1.42 because we've done so well bringing people in. But we bring in about 150,000 people each year, and then we lose usually a little bit over that. So after a good year that we had this year and brought in more people, Jennifer Jones wants to keep those people. So when you think about attraction, what do you think about? Well, you think about, why do people join our clubs? That's the important thing to be thinking about today. Luckily, we have done surveys at Rotary International, and they tell us why people join. The number one reason people join is they actually want to give back to their community. Local service is the number one type of service that people are looking for, but we also have international service. And it's important to have both because we want to keep people engaged. No one joins Rotary to do nothing. They join Rotary to make the world a better place and to make a difference. So Rotaractors join for the same reason. What else are people looking for when they join Rotary? They want those professional connections, like Paul Harris did 117 years ago. They want to be able to network. And our younger people, they want to rub shoulders with people of significance in their industry. That's why Rotaractors join. But the most important thing to remember about attracting members is 85% of our members joined because somebody asked them. Now raise your hand if someone asked you to join Rotary. So most of us were asked to join, and that's why we joined. And it's important to know that sometimes Rotary might not be right for somebody right now, but it's okay to ask them again. You know, it's interesting. I tried to join Rotary back in 1996. I was an assistant district attorney in the town that I lived in, and they wouldn't let me join because my boss, she had the law enforcement classification spot, so they didn't have a spot for me. So I eventually moved. This was in Georgia, which is southern United States. 13 years later, I moved to Minneapolis, and my next door neighbor asked me to come to his Rotary meeting. And he had to ask me about 24 times before I would say yes, because I thought, okay, Rotary must not want me if they didn't say yes to me the first time. But he asked and asked until I finally said yes. And why do I bring up that story? Because when you grow in Indonesia, it's important to remember to not give up and to really do your best to keep on asking. Because some people might not be able to do it now, but they might next year. The other thing is, surveys show that the number one reason why people leave Rotary is because they don't feel welcome in their environment. They're not comfortable in their culture. So we have to make our clubs a place where people want to be and where they want to bring new people into. So when it's all said and done, Rotary is a business, right? And what are we delivering? We're delivering a product. And what is that product? It's a club experience. So when we want to attract members to come in, we have to deliver an experience that they want. And if we don't deliver that experience, they're going to leave. And they're not going to bring more people in. So the things we could consider in making our environment, our club experience welcoming, is a variety of service projects, like we said. You know, I had a friend who moved from where I am, northern middle US, down to Florida, and she joined her Rotary Club, and they didn't do any international service. So she left Rotary. So then we convinced her to start her own club, and now she's got 85 people in her own club that does international service. It's a Global Travelers E-Club. You have to have fun social events. And I know in Indonesia, you guys know how to do that. You do have fun social events. Professional development, and leadership. Our current president, Shekhar Mehta, I've heard him say that he didn't have a leadership position until he was president of his Rotary Club. And he used to be, like many of us, afraid to speak in public. But Rotary gave him the opportunity and gave him his skills. And nowadays, we have even more platforms in our learning center and with our partnerships that we can teach young people how to be leaders and how to speak in public. Also mentoring, and that's two ways, not just seasoned professionals mentoring younger professionals, but we can learn from our younger members, especially in the areas of social media and things that they are more in their world than ours. Networking opportunities are very important, and family-friendly activities. And the key thing here is not just saying we're family friendly, but actually open it up for the family members. When you do service projects, invite other families, not just your members, but invite your members' families, but also invite other families, their neighbors, their friends. You know, there's a club in England that recently formed called Maidenham Bridge, and they meet the first and third Sundays at a coffee shop, and they bring their partners with them, and the adults play bridge, but they also bring their children there, and the children play together. If you're at a hotel or you're at a country club, you know, consider having a picnic every once in a while where it's outside. Bring some balls, some frisbees, have the kids play bingo, give out awards. It's a lot of fun. So this past year has been about each one bring one. So every one of us, Shaker Meta took the concept of our traditional view of membership, which is let's have a committee where just one person or 2 or 3 people bring in all the members and responsible for bringing all the members of our club. Well, he took that concept and he turned it on its head. He said, each and every one of us on this screen are part of a de facto membership team. We all need to bring one in. Well, it's interesting because whenever you come up with a new idea, you're going to have some naysayers. You know, the first thing that was brought up was, hey, if everyone bring one in, we're just focusing on quantity. We're not focusing on quality. But that's not true, because if you think about it, if DG Dolly is charged with bringing just one person in, she can focus on finding the person who best fits with the culture of her club, just one person. We're not saying bring in 5 people. Then the other objection, so if you think about it, we really are focusing on quality. The other objection is, oh, we can't possibly do this. We can't possibly double the size of our clubs. Well, you know, it actually worked. Here's a club here that they posted on Facebook. On the 3rd of July, they doubled from 43 members to 86. So if we put the effort in, our clubs will get inspired and they'll do it. So our current president gave us that direction of attraction, but he also motivated us. He gave us the membership society. So if you bring in 25 members, active members into your club, you get to be part of this membership society. You'll receive an email from RI saying, would you like to be a member? If you bring in 50 members into your club, then you'll be a gold member. And it was fun being at the International Convention a couple of weeks ago. During the Service Above Self Awards, they recognized all the gold and platinum members of the membership society. So they brought us up and said, these people did a good job. So that's why we were able to grow from that 1.4, including Rotaractors, to 1.42. So, and you know, the other thing they did is RI started recognizing the sponsors. So we not only have to take care of our new members, we have to say good job to all those people who brought those new members in. And RI did this by sending out a letter to sponsors who sponsored new people this year. So we bring the people in. That was this year's focus. Next year's focus, as DG Jolly said, in 5 days, is going to be on engagement. So when we were thinking about attraction, we were thinking, why do people leave? Engagement, why people come in. Engagement, we have to say, why do people leave? And we try to prevent that. So again, the #1 reason people leave is they don't feel comfortable with their club. So how do we know what we need to change to make them feel comfortable? Well, it's pretty easy. We can conduct a survey. Now, if you have a small club, and I know in your area of the world, you have more clubs and they're a little bit smaller than some other areas of the world. So if you want to conduct a survey and you have less than 20 members, you could just pick up the phone and call them and ask them, you know, what do they want? And it doesn't have to be complicated. You could ask them, do you like where we meet? Do you like when we meet? Do you like our socials? Do you like our service projects? Would you rather deliver on a virtual platform like this, or would you rather meet in real life? And it's funny. And if you have a club that's, I think your largest club in your area is about 100. There might be some that are slightly larger. But if you want to conduct a survey there, it'd be hard to call all those individuals. So what you can do is you go to My Rotary, you could just type in member satisfaction survey. Rotary has 6 different types of assessments. Member satisfaction is the one that's most often given to our members. There's also a health check, which could be given to your board of directors for your club. But when you do these, it's interesting because there's about 5%. If we actually had time today, we asked all of you, are you satisfied? All the way down to somewhat dissatisfied or dissatisfied. There's only going to be about 5% on average of people who are dissatisfied. But when you drill down to why they're dissatisfied, it's interesting because it's usually something that can be tweaked. Maybe you have a few members that don't want to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning to go eat a fixed cost meal. Well, you know what? You can have a satellite club, still counts towards your membership, still counts towards your TRF dollars, but your club can provide flexibility for some of those individuals so they don't leave your club, so that they stay. So when we ask people, when's the last time you conducted your survey? Most clubs haven't conducted a survey. And the ones that have conducted an exit interview, which is given when people leave. But if you think about it, Rotarians, like all of you on this Zoom meeting today, they're good people, they're nice people. They might not give you the honest reason that they're leaving because they might not want to hurt your feelings. And even if they did, it's too late at that time to actually make the change to keep them in the club. So Jennifer Jones says, let's do entrance surveys. When people come in, ask them what they want so we can deliver that product. And Rotary's official stance is you should do a survey once a year. So the survey comes back and it says, we want to change some things. Well, there's some things you could change that are hard to do. So let's look just for a minute about what current clubs do, our traditional clubs, and I'm a member of traditional club, would never leave it, love it. And then what do the new clubs do? Because sometimes you could take some of the things that the new club are doing, incorporate into your current club, and then you have people are more happy and they're more comfortable and they stay. So most of our clubs meet Monday through Thursday. They usually meet at a breakfast meal or a lunch meal, usually at a hotel or a country club. When do our new clubs meet? They usually meet electronically. They usually meet on a Tuesday night or a Saturday morning. And you can also talk about the format. You know, Rotary doesn't require you to have 4 business meetings during a month. Rotary requires only 2 meetings. And you know what? You can take those 4 meetings and you could take 2 of them and make them non-business meetings. And you could do Rotary in the workplace. You know, where I live, we have, in my club, we have a woman who owns an airport. So we brought everyone to the airport and flew them around our twin cities in Minneapolis and St. Paul. They loved it. They had a great time. You could take one of those 4 meetings and you could do a service project. You can go to your local food shelf and you can stack those shelves. You can unbox the boxes. You can bake the banana bread, whatever your nonprofit does. And then there's the delivery system. The delivery system is what we're doing here today. You don't have to meet in person. You could have a hybrid situation where some of your people who want to come in person can do that. And the people who want to stay home or aren't able because they're out of town or traveling, they could be on Zoom or another electronic platform. So those are basically what you can tweak in your in-person clubs. But there's also different club models and membership types. And they wanted me to talk about that so that you know you could have flexibility. And there's all different kinds of club models. And I'm happy to come back and do a whole seminar where I go through each one of these. But since we're talking about all of membership, we're not going to focus too much on this. But just know there's ways to get your people fired up. You could add a cause to one of your clubs. You know, we had a club in Texas, which is kind of the middle but far south, at the border of the US. They had a club that failed. All the members were gone. So what they decided to do was reach out and say, hey, what can we do? I said, well, let's add a cause to it and see if we can attract new members. So they decided, after thinking about it, they were going to start a veterans club, modeled after one we did here in my district. And now they're just thriving. They have over 50 members. They have their own Interact club, and they're doing great things. So sometimes adding a cause. So we can talk about all those. There's also membership types. So when you're in your club, we all know that we have to pay Rotary International dues and we have to pay district dues, but the club dues are up to your club. So your president's line or the board of directors can decide to give discounts to people who might otherwise not join Rotary. You know, we have an associate membership where someone who's checking Rotary out may want to join your club in Indonesia, but they're not sure yet. They're not sure if they want to pay those dues. They're not sure if they're going to like the people or feel comfortable. So what you can do is you could give them a discount maybe for a quarter or two while they decide. You can give second family members, a family member who's currently not a member and they want to join, you can give them a discount. And you could limit the rights that they have as a member. Maybe they can't run for office or that kind of thing. But one thing that works really well in a situation is young professionals who may not be in the point of career they could afford heavy dues. You might want to give them a discount. So we brought those members in, we kept those members. The last way to grow Rotary is actually to form new clubs. But I want to tell you why we form new clubs, because there's certain things that new clubs do that our traditional clubs don't. And we love our traditional clubs. We stand on their shoulders, and Rotary wouldn't be what it is today without those clubs. But looking at these new clubs might be a way for a traditional club, if it doesn't want to change, it doesn't want to change its culture, they could start another club, and we just have more options for more people. I love that Anytown video that you played. And I love the exposing the 5 membership myths, because you think about it, some of those things do exist in our traditional clubs. So if we start another club, we can bring more people in. So what do new clubs do? Well, I'm going to tell you what these are, and then I'm going to give you examples so that you know that these are actually the truth, following the 4-way test. New clubs grow Rotary quicker. They retain members longer. They attract younger and more diverse members. They make us more visible in our communities than we are currently, and it increases partnership opportunities. Now, when I say grow Rotary quicker, when we started the Network for Empowering Women Club, we added 55 members to our district, just like that. It would take a long time for me to bring in 55 members in my current club. It just takes a long time. And when you bring in a new club, you don't have to worry about their culture because they make their own culture. Also, it retains members longer, especially with their cause-based clubs. And I know that's of interest to you. You think about it, a cause is the most motivational factor in the entire world. So if we tell people, we can help you make your cause, work on your cause, you don't have to go out and raise all the money. You don't have to go form another entity. You don't have to worry about building a reputation, because Rotary gives that to everyone. I mean, we have almost 117-year stellar reputation. We have a 5-star charity navigator rating. We have district grants and local grants. We have 1.42 million people you could ask help with planning projects or funding projects. This is a picture of our Veterans Club. People drive over 2.5 hours, some of them, to come to the service projects and get-togethers and socials. They redid the first floor of a homeless vet's home 3 weeks after they formed their club, because they got a district grant. And you have to love these new clubs because they do things that our traditional clubs wouldn't think of doing. They went to the Elks Lodge to ask for money. I've never done that before. I always go to other Rotary clubs, and they did it, and they were successful. These new clubs add more diversity. It's interesting, when I was district governor, we added 80 additional female members, and we moved our percentage of female members from 30 to over 32%. So we wanted to replicate this. So we looked back and we said, how did we do that? And we looked at where our female members went to. Our Eco Club is over 50% female. Our End Human Trafficking, over 60% female. And our Rotary Club of Network for Empowering Women had almost 70% females. And it's not just the gender parity that it helps us reach, but when you look on a screen for these new E-clubs, most of them are E-clubs, they have different races. We don't track racial information at Rotary International, but we know that younger people especially want to be a part of a diverse environment with different ideas, and they want to serve in that capacity as well. So we also become more visible in these new clubs. When we started the first ever club to end human trafficking, about 2 weeks after we started, I was inducting a member into the club, and she was from Turkey. And we were all excited because we didn't have a member from Turkey. Well, 20 minutes after that induction, I received an email on my computer from the then sitting Rotary International president, Mark Daniel Maloney, and he confided in me that that was his sister that we just swore in. He had tried for 40 years, 4 decades, trying to get her to join Rotary, but we just didn't have a club that fit her interests. And frankly, we didn't have a club that fit her schedule because she needed to meet at night because she was teaching US history in Turkey during the day. So we formed a club that fit her needs. We can keep on doing that. And you know what? It's not hard to start these clubs. You know, this is a club we started for young people who want to work in the environment. And we started this club with just in a few months. And how did we do it? Well, we called up we called up SRAG, the Environmental Rotary Sustainability Action Group. And action groups are great because they help you plan projects. They help you get funding. But you know what you can't do in an action group? You can't actually do a project. You can't get a district grant. You can't get an international grant. And some of the young people that were members of this advisory group, they want to get their hands dirty. They want to dig in the dirt. They actually want to do the project and plant the trees, not just help other people plan a project. So we got a list of 120 individuals who were younger and called, and they have a great club. It's not like my club. You know, they meet online. My club meets in person. They don't communicate like my club. They communicate via WhatsApp. My club uses email. But we have a place in Rotary for everyone. And if we don't, let's start new clubs so everyone can have a place in Rotary. So you can start a Rotary club, takes 20 members. A Rotaract club is a recommended 12, so you could probably get away with 10 if club and district support will let that happen. And satellite clubs, you only need 8. And remember, it's not really a club, it's a separate meeting place for members of your current club. And of course, we have all different kinds of groups. You could start an alumni group. I mean, just think of all the people we have met in our Rotary careers over the years that have had life-changing experiences because of Rotary, but they're not in Rotary. I mean, we have the youth exchange people. We have people who've gone on all kinds of study exchanges. Let's have them form a club, Peace Fellows. So I'm often asked, what did all these clubs have in common that I started? Well, they had a passionate champion. You got to have someone like DG Jolly or PP Wanda that actually really has that passion to bring folks along. We've seen the clubs that have an active president and they do well. Camaraderie and friendship is an important part of Rotary. People want to serve and do good in the world, but they want to do it with people who are their friends. And we do have to have service projects. No, there's a debate sometimes in Rotary, are we a membership organization or are we a service organization? So I loved how our MC tonight said, you know, membership is our #1 internal priority and polio is our #1 external focus. Well, we're a membership organization, but we just happen to do the best service in the world. But if we didn't have members, we wouldn't be an organization. And you all know that. And that's why it's great to be in a group that appreciates membership. And it's funny when you go around and you talk to groups, the groups that care about membership and are bringing in speakers like me, they do well because they're focusing on it, they're working on it. And the other thing is these clubs survive if they're nurtured. There's a new course in the learning module in the Learning Center that says that a club that is supported and nurtured is 42% more likely to survive. So what kind of clubs can you start? Club for Veterans, Human Trafficking. Australia's got 2. We're helping out with homelessness. You know, this morning I got an email for all kinds of different kinds of people who need service. So if there's an area that people need to be served, you can start a club around it. So now is my all-time favorite part is answering your questions. So please feel free to shout them out. And if they're in the text, I'll try to watch that at the same time.
Thank you, VDG Tom. I felt that I maybe want to be a governor again after listening to you. So we start.
I know you made a great one the first time, so you'd be a great one again for sure. Yeah.
Yes, thank you for the sharing. Actually, I think everyone actually go through the same procedures like what you have mentioned and the 3 of it. And just that maybe we are unaware what we have gone through. I think most of the answer or the question that you actually go through with us, we actually went through it. You know, but the thing is that it becomes immune already because it's always the same. So how are we going to encounter it, and how are we going to maybe, you know, go on the back seat again and then do it again and then recall what should we do now? Yeah. So
You know, that's a very good question, and it's a question that's not often asked. So thank you for asking it. Because you think about it, when you boil it all down, yes, we do those same procedures. And you have had a 20% growth. So obviously you're doing all the right things. But it's so easy for us as Rotary leaders, and we're all leaders here today, for us to just talk to the people who report to us. Like if we have a Rotary coordinator, it's very tempting when you're a Rotary coordinator just to talk to your assistant Rotary coordinators and say, okay, I've done my job. I've filled out the reimbursement forms and I told my sergeants to go do their jobs. But the most important thing is to go to the clubs and let the clubs know how to grow, because they're sitting there, they're not looking at the membership numbers. They're saying, I'm having a good time. I have lunch with my friends. I have breakfast with my friends. You know, I'm not worried about growing. You know, I brought in, when I was president, 31 members into my club. Well, how did I do that? I talked to people. I talk to people I work with. I talk to people I work out with. I talk to people I worship with. I talk to my friends, families, neighbors. But I also told my club membership's important. You know, and I was on the board of my club, you know, before I was president, our club meetings on the board level were the same. We'd go over the meeting minutes. We'd go over the financials. We'd talk about our next fundraiser, but we never got to membership. So when I was president of my club, I put that #1 on the agenda. Now, when I stopped being president, I learned that there's only so many people I know. But if you bring in other people to help you, they know so many more. So when you start a club, it's not hard to do. And I want you all to realize that, because I think a lot of us bring in members and a lot of us engage members. But when some people think about starting a club, we say, that's really hard. I think that's too much work. I'm not going to do that. Well, I'm not a veteran, and we don't have a single military base anywhere in my state where I live. So I want you to remember, if Gump could do it, you can too. Because the reality is each and every one of you can do it. And when you do it, you're going to be leaving a legacy in Rotary. You know, whenever I go to that club, they always call me Dad. At first I didn't like it, but now it's grown on me, because, you know, they see me as the person who started the club. And, you know, when you start a club like that, you start in Indonesia, the rest of the world will follow. I mean, we've started the first end human trafficking club. Now they're popping up all over the world. So, and the other thing is, it's not only easy to do, there's people to help you. When we tried to start, and it's funny when you start a club, because it's pretty easy to get like the first 15, but then the last 5 are hard. But as soon as you charter, a whole bunch more people join, especially if you have a charting event, it gets publicized. But when we were trying to start the End Human Trafficking Club, we couldn't get those last 5 members. So I called up Brian King at RI. He's head of membership development. And he fixed me up with Raggeds, which is the Rotary Action Group Against Slavery. And we had 3 other board members join our club, and another board member let me write a little PR piece that we're forwarding this club. And we got 2 members from Thailand from that. So, you know, there's lots of people to help you. You don't have to do it on your own. But I think, Dolly, what we need to do as the 79 leaders on this call here today is we need to inspire people. We need to let them know that they can do it and that it's important to do it. So the knowledge is one thing, but we got to get them motivated. And, you know, that's why I love talking about these things, because I love helping people out. But what I'd really love is for each of you to go actually do it. And sometimes the next step after this, DG, respectfully, might be to have a facilitation where we have a number of facilitators. We break up into rooms and we design that club. We come up with our notepad and we put, this is the name of our club. This is where we're going to meet, because then it gets fun. People write it down, they remember it, and then they go out and do it. Because the worst thing is for us to learn a lot and not share it, or learn a lot and not do anything with it. So we have a lot to do, and you guys have been successful, but the hardest point in any district is where you are now, because you had a 20% membership growth. You know, in my district, we had constant growth for 4 years. So as assistant Rotary coordinator, I'd get these reports. 4 years, we had green boxes. And then, you know what? We stopped talking to clubs in our districts. You know, we were like, oh, we're fine with membership. You know, we don't have to do it. So it's really hard to be good at membership and then be better and then to be best. And you guys are in a precarious position because you're best right now. I mean, 20% membership growth, that's better than anywhere I've heard in the world. So what you need to do now is to keep it going, respectfully.
Yeah, I think that the important basic is that you must be happy in your club. And because if you love your club, then you bring in members to your club. I think that is very important, because from there, then you do more things like your passion, what you mentioned, some of the answer for why you become a Rotarian, you're passionate about it. Yes, so I believe that whatever it is the club that you are in, and then you're happy in it, and then you want to bring in members and you mentor them. Yes, I think
Yes, DG,
yes.
you're right. A club has a culture, and you can think of culture in different ways. Like, I think Southern culture, I think eating fried green tomatoes and iced tea. Now, if a culture is good in a club, that means we have Rotary values and we have club values and they match up. That means things are going to happen. You're going to be growing. You're going to be doing service projects. You're going to be inducting Paul Harris Fellows, all those kind of things. But when there's usually 2 to 4 meetings before they're asked to join. But what's right is what's right for the club. And it's interesting because Rotary has rules and regulations. We have a policy manual that I accidentally printed once, and it's like 500 pages. It couldn't even fit in a 5-inch T-ring. But one of those rules is you can only belong to one club. Well, I tell you, the new clubs, they're changing things. Our new clubs that we started, some have associate members, some have friends of the club, and a lot of them are partners of current members of other clubs. And one partner didn't like the traditional club, but they joined the E-Club, and then their spouse wants to join. And a lot of these clubs, like the Global Travelers Club I mentioned, you see a lot of 2 people in squares instead of 1 person in squares when you have virtual meetings. So what I'm saying is, do what's right for the club. Yes, we follow Rotary rules and procedures, but there are grassroots movements within inside of Rotary that I see when I speak around the world that I think will happen and change Rotary eventually. I'm going on to the RI Membership Growth Committee starting July 1 through 2025, July 1, 2022 through July 2025. So if you have any ideas and you want me to bring them forward, I'm happy to be your ambassador to bring those to RI. The second question, what will you do if there's a toxic member in your club? And especially if he or she, I added the she, it just says he in the question, but he or she is a toxic member. This is hard for a president. Senior member.
That's right.
Senior, which makes it even more difficult. But I tell you, being a president, we're all inclusive. We never want to lose. We're like shepherds who don't want to have that one lost sheep. But I can tell you from experience, and objective viewpoint being one step out, if you have a toxic person, it's best to get rid of that individual. I tell you, this is a sad story for me because it actually is in my club. But we had a member who she became president, and she decided to bring in all political speakers during her year, mostly political speakers during her year, and they are of one political bent. And it doesn't matter which side, but just one bent. So people came and approached her and said, can you have balanced speakers, or can you get away with not do any more political speakers? And she said, no, I'm president. I'm going to bring in the people I want to bring in. So we lost about 10 members that year, an 83 member club. And that hurt. And it wasn't so much, it goes back to what DG Dolly was saying about people have to feel comfortable. We lose most of our members in Rotary within the first 3 years. Within the first year, we lose over 10% of people when they join. Within the first 3 years, we lose over 52% people. Why do people not leave after the 3rd year? Because we all have those lifelong relationships. We have friends, we wouldn't leave them. But we can't keep people, it's harder to keep people in the first 3 years. And those are the most important people we should be keeping. How do we keep them? We make sure our culture is right. We make sure that people are comfortable. Thank you for the question.
Yes, we have one more question. I think President Ramallah, would you like to? Yes.
Yes, Tom, thank you very much for this comprehensive presentation. My question is about retention. You know very well that as a result of the corona and ending up on Zoom, most of the clubs lost members because of that. Not everybody likes the Zoom. And even if you try now with the Corona effect list to do hybrid kind of meetings, holding meetings in a cafeteria or a coffee shop, or even you don't have the facilities, the microphones, the things to conduct a hybrid kind of it. What is the remedy in this situation? Because we are losing members because of this. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for that question. It's a very timely question. And there's a lot of different subparts. So let me try to be efficient and logical in my answer. We did lose members during the coronavirus. We lost just over 1% of our members. Now, why do I bring that up? Because it's important to know that some people did not feel comfortable meeting on electronic platforms, so they left. But that 1% is a small minority compared to the whole. So it wasn't a total repudiation of Rotary as a product. It was more, we don't like that format. So how do you make people feel comfortable? What we have to do is we have to do that assessment. We have to ask them, do you like meeting in person? Do you like meeting online? The solution may be the people who want to meet in person should have a satellite club where they meet in person. The people who want to meet online, you could have another satellite club where they meet online. DGE Lloyd, can you come on and tell us about the OWL product and how that's helped in similar situations in our district?
Thank you, Tom. I'm not sure if you can hear me or not. I've been muted so long. It's interesting. We're using a product here called the OWL, and basically it's a camera that actually follows the people around in the hybrid scenario and tracks them, and also provides the opportunity for them to speak and interact. One of the things that I've heard so often is that in a hybrid scenario or in a Zoom scenario, you don't have a chance to interact or be engaging. And this is is a sort of technology that allows us to do that. So thank you very much for allowing me to speak.
Actually, Lloyd, I did put my card on the chat line. If you can kindly forward to me this kind of camera or technology, I will really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, and I will.
And relatively speaking, it's not that expensive. And it may be something that maybe the district may want to give scholarships for to pay part of it or something like that. In US dollars, it's under $1,000, I believe, right, Lloyd?
Yes.
So, you know, it's interesting. We talked about the number of clubs, you know, and we talked about, DG Booty talked about 18 years ago. And we've been at that number for the same 18 years. During that same time, we've gone from an average club size of approximately 60 to an average club size of just under 30 worldwide. So why, you know, we kept the same number, we doubled we halved the size of our clubs. And why did we do that? Because we're trying to make clubs accessible to more people. So it may be the situation that in the future, we have less 300 to 400 member clubs and we have more 30 member clubs because we have different interests and different schedules we're trying to meet from prospective people of action. And people who left Rotary, we can bring them back and make a club that fits their needs because they left because they didn't like something. They can start their own club and have it be exactly the way they want it to be.
Yeah, then regarding you mentioned about how many times before you induct a new members. And I would like to share because some of the clubs here in District 3310, they could, for example, they say 3 clubs meeting or 1 project, or 2 club meetings and then 1 project. Because I think project is important. That's where you attract new members, you know. So maybe I'll share that. Yeah, there's one more question by DG and Ronnie. He said, what is the special program that you would do to increase members and the number of the clubs?
That is interesting, and it's a great question because if you have the answer to that question, you will grow and you'll have new clubs. I think the most important thing is to keep your ears open. You know, it's easy for me when people ask to say, what clubs do you see popping up around the world? And I could say here, here, and here. And, you know, we have a Grow Rotary tool where you could actually take the demographic information. I think this is only in North America right now, but you could take the demographic information and say, there's this many people, but there's no club there. But the reality is, in real life, you need to listen to what they want. You know, let's say that we're in, you know, Hong Kong, but pick whatever city. There's a bunch of people getting off work. They don't want to get into their car and drive for an hour and a half. They'd rather wait till traffic dies down. You could have a 501 club where they get together and they have appetizers, maybe have a drink, not too many if they're driving, but and they could just do what they want to do. I mean, we have people out there who want to start bicycle clubs because they don't want to eat a heavy breakfast in the morning. They'd rather get together with their friends and bike, but they still want to do the service projects. So find out what service projects they want to do and design a club around them and what they want to do. It's tempting to make it just like our clubs, but you have to have them decide when they want to meet, where they want to meet, and how.
Okay, good.
Thank you for the question.
Yeah, here is, I think I like to read this from PDG Aloysius. Tom, I think in every club there should be some Rotarians who make Rotary as part of their lives. And that come from experiences, learning, and a lot of fellowship. Only then that those Rotarians will always remember to invite people whenever they meet. Not only for their club, but also for other clubs close to the person they meet. And those Rotarians who their ways of living can usually attract people to join their clubs.
You know, I think that is so profound. Knowledge comes from a lot of PDGs. I love and everyone in the line and every member, but it's interesting because you learn so much going around the world. And you're right. That question points out that Rotary is a gift, and it's a gift we should want to share with others. I mean, nothing made me prouder as a president, or happier, to use Dolly's word, is when I have my friends come in and join, and there's another smiling face in front of me as we share a speaker or share a meal. So sharing Rotary, it should be something that we treat as a gift because we enjoy it. And we're asking members to become, and potential members to become, part of our club because we care about them. So that's a great way to look at it. I'm glad you brought that up.
Good. Is there any other questions?
Yes, Dolly, can I?
Sure. Go ahead, Cindy.
Okay. So Thomas, very inspiring, all of your explanation. I just want to know, how do you manage a big club with more than 100 members? I believe there are a lot of clubs in the US that having a lot of members. For example, my club has more than 100 members nowadays, and some members do not know each other, you know. So it's difficult to ask also majority of the members to join the project. How do you manage this large club usually in the US? Can you share? Thank you.
Yes, DG Cindy. Thank you very much for that question. Large clubs, as I stated before, are the ones that are losing most members. And you think about it, if you have a club of 300 to 400 people, it's hard to even find a venue for them to meet. It feels like a mini international conference. And so when you're meeting these venues, sometimes you're sitting behind a pole. You have to look at a television screen instead of the speaker directly. So and some clubs don't manage it, large clubs don't manage it successfully, but some do. And the ones that do, what they find is it's all about engagement. And how they engage people is they have more committees and they do more things. So you might have in a large club, in the largest club in our district, how they do it is they have different membership opportunities, but they also have different service opportunities. So they have groups that get together for book clubs. They have a women's book club. They have how do I get ahead in business? They have, if you've lost your job, come to this seminar. They have different groups, leadership development groups. And so they manage it by having almost mini clubs based around affinities or interests.
Good.
Thank you for the
Meaning
question.
that you're saying that in the clubs that have so many members, they can have different groups of interest. That's what you meant.
Yes. Yes.
It's a good idea.
Mhm.
Yeah. So how many, I just want to know how many, what is the largest members in the US? I mean, for a
You know, I
class.
think the largest club is somewhere around 500. It's in Alabama, which is in the South. It seems like the Southeast US has a large clubs. I think Manila in the Philippines has a large club as well.
Mhm.
A lot of times they're the oldest club in the area, so they're the most established. And they usually are, if they're in the top 12 and clubs that were formed because they were given those numbers, they call themselves Club 10, Club 9, you know, club number 1 in Chicago. Some of them tend to be the larger clubs, but not always. But it is interesting and it's a different feel. So again, it's the culture, and some people like being part of a club that they can say, um, certain people are in. Some people like being a large club just because it's a large club, but some people like smaller clubs. So you just gotta figure out where people fit in.
Okay. What is, in your opinion, what is the best for the club to be healthy? You know, how many members max, or is there any, you know, I mean, like benchmark for the number of members? Do you know?
So it all depends, but it seems like a magic size seems to be to that 80 to 100 size, because it actually, you have enough going on and there's enough dollars coming in, you can do fun projects and there's enough interest around, but you still know everybody. When you start getting to 200, then you don't know everybody in your club and you have to get there at a certain time, and people try to sit at the, you know, tables of people they know and that kind of thing. So it's different for every club, and I can't say there's a magic answer, but you know, 80 to 100 seems to be a good size for most people to be comfortable in.
Okay. Thank you, Tom. Back to you, Dolly.
Thank you. And I also did, I will also say maybe it depends on the area you are. What is the demand or the community service that you like to do in the region? Yeah. So it depends on the numbers that you have in the club. Yeah. Anyone? Yeah. Anyone has a question? Because I do have one.
Yeah, DG Dolly, I'd like to
Sure.
ask questions.
Sure. Go ahead.
Thank you, PDG Tom, because today we have so many PDGs from District 3 for 10, 3 for 20, and all other districts, and also DGA, DGN. So I'd like to ask, actually, what would you like to ask for the PDG, for example, to help the DG to increase the memberships? I mean, like we would like to ask them, because, for example, like I'm quite close to PDG Al Purwa, honestly. Yeah, PDG Al Purwa is always a guy who is keep on saying, "Oh, it doesn't matter the size of the club. You have to donate. You have to help the people and humanity." So actually, what would you like to suggest or to advise so that maybe DG Dolly wants to be DG again, or DG Cindy also? To encourage them to be a DG again, because they got the big support from the PDGs. Thank you.
So that's a very good question. And of course, our PDGs are a valuable asset. And there's a PDG fellowship internationally that meets at the convention. They usually have the RI presidents there, and they could do some good things. You know, there's so much knowledge out there, and we learn so much. And it's interesting because I'm always humbled to speak to a group such as yours. We have 83 leaders here, and they know so much, and we could all learn from each other. And we learn as adults, we learn better from pulling information from each other. But the one thing that's true is when we have more members, we really can do more things. And of course, people have to feel comfortable. And I'm not saying they all have to be in one club, but when I grew my club from medium size to large when I was president, some things happened. It wasn't just the increase in membership. We raised more money than we ever did before. We had more Paul Harris Fellows than we ever did before. We did more international service projects, which we weren't doing many. We were doing mostly local than we ever did before. So the more hands we have, the more things we can do. So membership is important, because the reality, past President Wanda, is if you're not growing, I've seen it too often, you're really declining. You know, I have a wonderful PDG friend who I adore, but he is just fine in his traditional club, and he doesn't care if Rotary membership grows internationally or his club. And I said, I won't say his name, but I said, you got to understand that, you're not going to be around forever. And don't you want this to go on? He said, I have fun having lunch with my friends. If we lose members, I'll just give more money and everything will be fine. It's not true. That is a myth. That's not true. Rotary will die if we don't increase it and we don't grow. No organization is around for 117 years without being able to adapt. And it's interesting because I was going back and forth with emails this morning with our RI president nominee, Gordon, and he said, look for changes in this area when it comes to membership. So I'm excited. We started this because it's the end of the year, kind of summarizing what we did this year, what RI President-elect Jennifer Jones is going to do, and then Gordon's going to do something different. All those things that we do are going to help us grow, and it's going to help us do more service. And it's all a synergy, because when we get more people, they give more money, we do projects, we publicize those projects, we get more members. So a vibrant president gets wind behind her, his sails, and everything gets better. But I would say when you're a district governor, as many of you have been, or a president, you can't do everything. You got to focus on one thing. But I can tell you, focusing on membership helps me make my polio go. Focus on membership helps me make my public image goal. Membership, to me, is a good starting point. It's all important, but membership is a good place to focus.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, can I just ask Tom, you mentioned about the RI incoming presidents, what they intend to do. Are they looking into, because we have, we are can I say that we are dying, so many seniors, and what are they looking at? What are the attractions? Who are they talking about? Who are they attracting? What are the maybe age range? For now we have the road tractors coming in. So what are they looking at? In the long run? Yeah.
So different areas of the world are different, DG Dolly. And then when I speak in England, I was speaking at a group the other day where the president-elect for a club was 83 years old. So they are looking at different things. One thing that's being looked at, and you might have heard Nikki Scott, who's the incoming vice president for RI, talked about this global hub. Brian King at 4 a.m. my time on Tuesday on a show that's in Australia, Membership Voice, is talking about the US version of that global hub. So they're thinking about maybe trying to bring people into Rotary without being a part of a club, but they might have a certain interest. Let's say they're into bird watching and they'd like to have Rotary grants and things, but they don't want to go to a club meeting. So that's being explored. But right now, the backbone is our traditional clubs, and we're starting new clubs. But there might be some things in the future that could help us grow in membership.
Yeah. Okay, the other question which I have in mind, I'm not sure if anyone is, before I ask the question, anyone has any question? Okay, I'll ask my question. I have something in mind, is that we're talking about new clubs. Now, what we see, okay, is that they are actually not new clubs. They are members leaving their club, all right, and forming a club, and they compose of maybe other members of different clubs. So we are not having any growth at all. It's just that they come together and form a new club. So what do you think of this?
Well, I really am glad you asked that question. And when I speak to different president-elects during PETS, there's a couple months there where every weekend I'm going to a different PETS. Presidents always ask that. They say, Tom, what we call in the US is poaching, taking a member from one club and starting a new club. Well, I just want to give a couple quick stories because I think they're illustrative and will tell us the answer here. This happens so often, DG Dolly, that I asked Brian King if we had any studies that proved when we charter a new club, how many are new to Rotary. And they didn't, so they conducted one. And in the members who joined new clubs within the last 5 years, 88% were new to Rotary. We just started a Pride Club in my district, 35 members, 33 are new to Rotary. But the other thing you got to consider, DG Valley, is that 12%, some of them may have left because of like the reason you gave. They're not comfortable in their club, so they might have left anyway. You know, I wish I can say that one morning I just woke up and I had this vision, I'm going to start the first ever human trafficking club. Well, that's how it happened. We had we had 3 districts, mine and the one to the north and one to the east. And they came to Lloyd and I, Wave Lloyd, he's our DGE for a few days, then he becomes our DG. They said, we're going to quit Rotary. Like, how can you quit Rotary? We had this very successful, just had a successful summit. And they said, Tom, you don't understand. We want to work on end human trafficking. We might get 1 speaker a quarter at 1 club, but we don't get district grants. We don't get international grants. So I said, start a club. They said, it's hard. And of course, I said, no, it's not. We'll help you. And we did it. But the important thing, Dolly, is they were going to leave Rotary because we weren't allowing them to serve the way they wanted to serve. And they wanted to focus that. It's almost like having a garage in your home. And let's say my mother-in-law has a large Winnebago that won't fit in my garage. If I wanted my mother-in-law to live with me, I'd probably have to build a large garage for her to park her Winnebago. You know, why not make a home for these people? Let them make their own home. We can help them.
Sure, thank you. I think there's a good reason. Instead of losing them, we are still keeping them in our district. I think that is something positive to look at, because there's always complaints. Say, what are you doing? You know, when you leave your clubs and then you're forming, it's the same thing. You know, but I think that is something we think positive, right, on that. Yeah. So, is there any other questions? Nope.
Ada yang mau tanya? Mungkin bahasa Indonesia boleh, nanti baru kita translate.
Sure. Anyone?
Our Charter President Haryanto Halim, the newest baby in District 3420.
Ya. Presiden Haryanto Halim, silakan. Atau CP Gong Tindi, kalau ada, monggo yang mau ditanyakan.
They would like to speak in their language, and then there will be a translation. Yeah.
Okay, CP Haryanto want to ask question.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Good evening, Tom. It's a very good presentation that I really enjoy as a new member of Rotary. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay, I'm still in the learning process, but what I am trying to grasp, what is Rotary, what is the difference between Rotary and other social clubs actually. But what I have found right until today actually is I find that Rotary is emphasizing on the fellowship actually among its members. So actually, because you know in the Indonesia now there are so many clubs and even the governments are involved in the social activities. So I'm trying to still figure out that it will make Rotary from other social club actually. I'm trying to figure that out. But I'm very glad. But in this learning process, I meet so many people. I feel that one of the most important thing in the Rotary is actually to form the network and to have a fellowship with other members and other clubs actually. So I'm still learning.
We lost him.
Maybe
So
the connection, yeah.
He brings up a very good point, and we could all learn from him, even though he's the newest Rotarian. And it's interesting because not too long ago, the Rotary magazine in Great Britain and Ireland asked me to write an article for them because they had a lot of people who were helping the national health care and donating their time for free, and they didn't have to pay dues. So whether it be fellowship or whether it be service, why do Rotary? And the reality is, in Rotary, you can do things that you can't do in any other service organization. You know, if I wanted to give money to the Red Cross here in the US, I would write a check and they would spend the money the way they want to. In Rotary, we can decide, you know, Lloyd's a beekeeper He could decide, as one of his many hobbies, he could decide to start a pollinator club, and he can get district grants and he can get local grants. Or he can even get international grants for beekeeping if you found the right project. He could design it. He could help raise the money. He could do the reports. He could report back. You can't do that in another service organization. They tell you what to do and you just raise the money. And it's the same with fellowship. And your newest Rotarian, I'm glad he was on. He talked about the importance of fellowship. When we started the Veterans Club, we brought an outside facilitator to find out what are the 3 pillars they wanted for their club. And one was service, one was peace, and the other one was fellowship. Because so many vets, they suffer from PTSD and they have suicides and things like that. They need that fellowship. We all need fellowship. And we all want to make the world a better place. Rotary is very unique because we bring that fellowship and service together. So it's an important organization. And I don't see other organizations doing that the exact same way Rotary does.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. We are in good hands. Are any more questions before we end the session? Any PDGs? Yep. Okay. So thank you, PDG Tom. I think your slides actually covers everything. You have the question, you have the answer, and I think we learned a lot, definitely. Yes, and it's a very good sharing because we have Rotarians who are actually just joined as a new Rotarians, and we have, thank you for the support from the past district governors who are here today. And I think it benefits most the incoming governors because myself and Cindy and Bindi, we have 5 days more to go. Okay, but I think we have done our best. And I would like to share what I actually say to the club. I always tell them that you must be happy where you are. All right. And if you think that you're not happy with the club, please leave the club because it's not good to stay in the club and talk about the club which you are not happy with. Because if you move on to another club or form new clubs, if you're happier there, and I think that is the best because in Rotary, we want to have fun. And as mentioned, we're on fellowship. And I think fellowship becomes, we build friendship, at the end of it. And I'm looking forward to your next talk, Tom. Maybe you have something interesting and please let us know. We will invite you back again. So thank you very much for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Oh, give a clap hand for PDG Tom and moderator TG Dolly. Yeah, once again, that's a really amazing presentation from PDG Tom and all menu, all formula, and all strategy we got from this presentation. Okay, I try to warm up because I think this presentation is really, really clear. But I try a little bit warm up. That's the membership webinar, this membership synergy. What PDG Tom said that 3 ways to grow Rotary. The first, attract new members with club benefits. That's interesting how to deliver value, like a variety of service project, fun social event, and professional development, and another. And then the second one, how to engage current member. I think this we have to try to change what we have to change, like time, place, formats, delivery, service project, and other. And the third one, form new club. How to form new club. But this is very interesting. 5 benefits of forming new club. I think this is very important for who will make a new club. Growing Rotary more quickly. I believe that, of course, because minimal 20 members, new members, retain members longer. The third, attract younger and more diverse members, make Rotary more visible, and increase partner opportunity. This is very important thing for us to got the benefit from the new club. I think that's a strategy. All the menu, it's really linear with membership in 2021 and 2022. Each one bring one mean attraction. And of course, with membership in 2022, 2023, retention and form new, of course, with creative club. That's the key, I think. That's the key. Okay, once again, thank you, PDG Tom, of course, with the professional, our moderator, DG Dolly. I hope if you don't mind for our next webinar, I want to invite you, special for our district. Okay, for the next program, appreciation and thank you remark from DG Bindi, especially coming for our webinar. Even I think she really busy in this time. Please, DG Bindi, is your time.
Thank you so much. Classmate governors, respected past governors and fellow Rotarians. Thank you, DG Cindy, for organizing and initiating this amazing 4-district membership seminar. And I must, on behalf of everyone, convey our highest gratitude to PDG Tom Gum for this amazing presentation. Thank you so much. And PDG Tom, I've been listening to you on many platforms, and it has been enlightening every time you speak. And hope to see you physically at a Rotary event in the future. You know, your sharing has been fantastic, and I do believe that Rotarians must constantly listen to such presentations, because we need to be motivated to raise membership. And every time you listen to a presentation like this, you learn something new through the question and answers and the presentations. But let me ask all of you a question. Now, who actually is a Rotarian? I believe it takes a very special person to be a Rotarian, one who is passionate to make a difference. And it takes a person with special characteristics and values to be able to do this. And service is our core value. We do not gain financially, but rather we pay to do service. And that is a very distinct characteristic of being a Rotarian. And we all realize through PDG Tom's presentation that members are our greatest asset, as we are a membership organization. But do realize the perception of the public of Rotary. Just step outside your shoes of a Rotarian for a moment and look in from the outside. When you see a Rotarian and know what the person does, would you not be proud of realizing what the work the Rotarian does? You know, you'll as a member public, I'm sure you will be full of admiration and respect. To observe a Rotarian is inspirational, but to be a Rotarian is extremely exceptional. And each Rotarian represents all of us. Whatever you do reflects on all of us. Whatever any Rotarian or any club does a project in any part of the world, it reflects on Rotary throughout the world. So my friends, every Rotarian is a brand ambassador of Rotary. Now, before I end my gratitude, I would like to recite this lovely phrase from the Pope. And he says, rivers do not drink their own water, and trees do not eat their own fruit. The sun does not shine on itself, and flowers do not spread their fragrance on themselves. Living for others is a rule of nature. We are all born to help each other. No matter how difficult it is, life is good when you are happy, but much better when others are happy because of you. Thank you, my friends. Stay well, and we will meet again.
Wow, thank you very much. Thank you, DG Bindi. Before we close, I just want to remind it's nice Rotary International membership statement that when Rotary membership is strong, our club are more vibrant. Rotary is more visible and more members have more resources to help communities flourish. To accomplish everything we want to do, we need our club, district, and zone leader to commit to grow Rotary and Rotaract. That's why growing our membership is our top internal organization priorities. Okay, once again, thank you very much, and thank you for PDG Tom Sgam for that amazing presentation, the membership synergy. I believe that you have given us all knowledge that we have never received from anyone else, and we are very grateful that you have spread your time in your busy schedule. And thank you for all, especially for DG Dolly from 3310, DG Bindi from District 3300, DG Budi from 3410, of course, my DG Cindy from 3410. And all, thank you for all district and club leaders, all fellow Rotarian, for spending your valuable time in this evening or early morning in America. Hope to see you all up in the next seminar. Stay safe and everyone. Thank you very much.
Yeah, before we close, then I would like to give the certificate and appreciation to, okay. This goes to IPDG Tom Gan. So thank you for sharing your valuable knowledge to all of us with your remarkable experience. So please accept our certificate of appreciation. Thank you. Okay, and the second one, yeah, this is for IPDG Nyoman Pasika. Thank you for being such a great host. And please accept our certificate of appreciation. And next, of course, my beloved DG Dolly Yip, you have been a great moderator. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Please accept our certificate of appreciation. Thank you.
Thank you.
And next, DG Bindi Raja Segaran. Thank you very much for, being participating in this webinar during your busy days, and also the last, to my classmate, also to DG Budi Suhat. Thank you for sharing also for this webinar. And I would like to invite you all to our webinar on 28th. So Rotary International President Shekhar Mehta just confirmed that he will come on 28th. So please mark your time. This is our the last webinar series on the topic of the beauty of giving and update on TRF. And the speakers will be Sang Po Yoon, our Vice Trustee Chair. Okay, so thank you for everything. Thank you, everyone, and see you on 28th.
Thank you, Cindy.
Yes, thank you, DG Cindy. Stay safe,
Thank you.
everyone. Thank you for all.
Well done, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
DJ
Ya.
belum ngantuk ya?
DG Al kuat sekali, minum ginseng.
So Tom, you can.
So Tom, you may have your breakfast now.
Yeah, you can have your breakfast.
And I'm going to have my dinner.
Oh yeah, really?
Yes.
Too late.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay, bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye, bye.